Welcome back to the channel, everybody. There's always something happening in crypto every day. Today, we got some XRP news, Bitcoin news, BlackRock news, which I might actually agree with Larry Fink for once. We got some ARK Invest news. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. So let's begin here. Oh, yeah. Listen, people that love XRP are always on their job. They're always unveiling something. And this is no different. So this article is titled Growing Demand for XRP as Ripple Enters into 80 institutional sales contracts since the SEC lawsuit. All right, let's find out who uncovered this. It says here, despite the legal tussle between the SEC and Ripple, XRP has continued to attract the interest of institutional clients, leveraging the coin for cross-border settlements, of course, because we're the best. We're the best. But I don't think that's news to anybody. It says here, prominent crypto expert Zach Rector has provided new evidence showing significant demand for XRP despite the coin being at the center of a multi-year legal tussle between the US SEC and Ripple. Listen, I want to say this. This is where my mind goes. So if they did 80 during a lawsuit where most companies are turning their backs, where most companies are letting it be known, hey, we're going to back off until a lawsuit is over. They said that. We read the articles about that. They did 80 while that's going on. Just imagine how insane they may go, how many partnerships they may bring in. I think this is just logical. When the lawsuit is over, these companies are so hungry that they're entering into partnership with Ripple, even during the lawsuit. How many more will enter after the lawsuit is over? And we're so close. So close. That's what this tells me. It says, oh, they want to use XRP more than people even know. And that's why I think a lot of things are going on surrounding XRP. Anytime institutions want to get into something first, they initiate a campaign of FUD. They get everybody else out of there. Let's get them out. Get them out of here. Then they creep in. They creep in. Yeah, they take over. 80 institutional sales. Says in a post yesterday, Rector shared an excerpt from the SEC's opening remedies brief. They told on themselves. They telling everybody, see, you can't hide the truth. You can't. It says opening remedies brief, suggesting that Ripple has entered into 80 institutional sales contracts. Well, thank you for letting us know that, SEC. Thanks for helping for once. So, hey, listen, if that's not bullish, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. Isn't HSBC one of ours? Wait a minute. This is separate. That's a separate thought. Let me actually just type that in. Bear with me for a moment. HSBC Ripple connection. Hold on a minute. I just want to make sure. There's so many banks they've worked with. It says the relationship between HSBC and Metaco, which was acquired by Ripple in May of 2015. Now, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about before Metaco. Didn't they have a relationship? Ripple partners with Metaco. That's all the top articles here. HSBC to launch tokenized securities custody with Ripple. No, I know before. See, and that's what happens with the news on Google. It gets buried by the newest news. I know that. You're like, well, that makes sense, Mick. No, the more popular news came before this, and yet the newer stuff is what will push that into oblivion, and then it's hard to find it again. HSBC, we had a lot of banks that we worked with, actually. Bank of America was on there, SBI. I'm pretty sure HSBC was one of them. Ripple targets $10 trillion market with Metaco, HSBC. And there's so many of these. That's another thing that happens. There's so many articles written on one thing. It just buries everything else. HSBC, Swift, and Ripple. HSBC to launch custody services. I can't find it, but I could have sworn they were one of our banks that we worked with early on. I'll look for it a little bit later. But that's going to lead into an article a little bit later, right? Because they have something going on that could be very, very interesting. It says, in a bold move, HSBC breaks new ground in banking. All right, that has nothing to do with Ripple. Now we just get into HSBC articles. Anyway, let's move on here, right? Let's move on here. We have this article here. This article is titled XRP ETF premium projected to surge 100x to $500. Whoa. All right, so there's somebody here that's apparently very bullish on the ETFs. Let's hear them out. Let's see what they have to say. I'm not writing anything off. I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm not against it. If it brings money to XRP, then I'm all for it. If it brings money to XRP, I don't care how it's done. As long as it's not done illegally, bring that money right here. That's how I think about it. I'm a money maker. I want to make that capital. It says Chad Steingraber, a prominent figure within the XRP community and a seasoned game designer, recently argued the potential for a 100x premium on an XRP ETF. In a recent post on X, Steingraber shared insights on the potential trajectory of an XRP exchange-traded fund in light of institutional demand. Wait a minute. You know what? It's crazy. I had an article, and I didn't add it here today to this allotment. And in that article, Larry Fink, this is what the article was saying. I don't know. Listen, this is what the article said. It says Larry Fink said that they could still have an Ethereum ETF, even if it's declared as a security. Wait a minute. If that's the case, then why wouldn't they also be able to have an XRP ETF, despite what's going on? You see? You see, they tell on themselves, right? I mean, you tell me. If he's saying that about Ethereum and it doesn't matter whether it's a security or not, it still can get an ETF, then why not XRP? XRP has way more clarity right now than Ethereum. No shot at Ethereum. I hope they do fine. I hope Ethereum continues to make money. It's a moneymaker. But I'm just saying, XRP has more clarity. Why would it not also be right there? We shall see. In a recent post on X, Steingraber shared insights on the potential trajectory of an XRP exchange-traded fund in light of institutional demand. Notably, the XRP community has called for efforts from asset managers. You know they're not going to listen to anybody. They don't listen to anyone. First, they have to exact their plans and shake everybody out. You saw what they did with Bitcoin, didn't you? All of those bigwigs said, oh, man. It was right out of their own mouths. Oh, Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. Bitcoin is terrible. Bitcoin is bad. They fudded Bitcoin for like a good 2 to 3 years. Only for those same individuals, we read the quotes, we saw the videos of them admitting it out of their own. They admitted it. They said it. That at the time that they were saying that, they also were buying Bitcoin. They always do this. Why do you think it's going to be any different with anything else? First, they have to shake everybody out. They want to control things. It's not just about money. See, it's not really about money with them. Once you have a lot of money, from what I've seen, that becomes like nothing. It's about power, control. They get off on controlling things and people. And they're going to, if they're going to get involved, they're going to be the ones in the driver's seat. That's how they look at it. I understand that kind of thinking, I suppose. You know, their methods are questionable, but I understand where they're coming from. Doesn't mean I agree with it. It says here, notably, yeah, so they're calling for BlackRock to do something. You can't control BlackRock. But it says here, in launching, and you can't suggest to them, that doesn't work that way. In launching an XRP ETF, they anticipate positive impacts on the asset's market value following the launch of such investment product. Of course, because they'll be buying it. Whatever gets an ETF, they're going to buy it like crazy so that they can control it and dominate it. Of course. So that's no brainer to me. Amid this optimism, Steingraber speculated on the outlook for the price at which the XRP ETF shares could sell. He speculated from the angle of XRP reaching an unprecedented price of $5. All right. Yeah, I could see that happening. Sure. XRP ETF premium could 100x. In particular, Steingraber theorized that if XRP broke a $5 price point, the corresponding ETF fund could similarly soar to unprecedented heights of potentially trading at a staggering 100x premium. Essentially, this outlook puts the ETF shares at $500. The XRP community figure emphasized that such an expensive premium for an XRP ETF would be particularly feasible if more institutions become interested in the XRP investment product. Listen, if any of the big companies, and they would be first to get approved, let's make that clear, my humble opinion. Any of the big companies ever get an XRP ETF, everybody else is coming. It's as simple as that. They're going to want a piece of it. You see how BlackRock started everything off. You have Valkyrie right there. You had a lot of the big ones. I believe Wisdom Tree also apply. You had ARK Invest. But now you see we're reading articles about Goldman Sachs clients being interested, right? So they'll all come eventually. So I don't think that that's a problem. I don't know how much of an impact it would have, but it would definitely have a major impact, 100%. And I can see why people are hungry for it. You know, there's pluses and minuses to all of this, of course. But that's what this individual is saying. All right. So here, well, I put some of my thoughts in, but you heard what he said in the article. All right. So $5 and then, you know, premium $500, right? 100x. So now let's move on here, because we had a little HSBC news. Besides that connection that I don't know if they still have that connection through Metaco. Probably not. Who knows? These these companies shift around so much. Who can tell? But I thought we had some early projects with HSBC. I could be wrong, but no matter what, nonetheless, the fact that they're introducing this, a tokenized gold product, leads right to where I was talking about. Didn't I say that this was coming? And I'm not talking about the entry. I call them entry level, because there's been tokenized gold in crypto for quite some time. You can get that on Uphold. You can get it quite a few different places. However, I was always talking about the big companies going heavy with it because the banks have been buying record amounts of gold. So any chain that gets involved with the major companies moving massive gold, tokenized gold, that could be massively impactful, right? So we have this article here. It says HSBC has become the first bank to introduce a tokenized gold product. We talked about this like 2 years ago. I said it, and now we're seeing a lot of things come to fruition, which means that our calculations were really good here on this channel. And I'm happy about that. It says here, banking giant HSBC has become the first bank to issue a blockchain-based real-world asset with the launch of its new tokenized gold investment product. Targeting, which means also this has heavy implications for blockchains, in my humble opinion, in the future, like Ripple, XRPL, like Stellar, ones that are, and also Algorand. Let me not forget them, because they have a cadre of banks as well. These ones that are involved heavily with the banks, because they could get some of that flow from that value at some point in the future. It's possible. It's not a guarantee, but it's something that I keep in mind, right? So anyway, not financial advice, of course. It says here, targeting retail investors in Hong Kong. Wait. And there you go. There you have it. They just dropped the bomb. Boom. Everything's happening in Hong Kong. Ripple has gone nuts in Hong Kong with their CBDC platform and all these connections and being on panels with their financial leader. Remember, we saw that video. So this could definitely impact the XRPL if the XRPL plays a key role in the future digital infrastructure in Hong Kong. Like I said, they not only have the wholesale aspect to their CBDC platform, but they also have their retail aspect. You have that, right? And then what did they say in all of those documents? They said they wanted to go heavy with tokenized real world assets. Even David Schwartz has been talking about that for the last 2 months. He continues to talk about that. It says here, the bank's gold token went live on March 28th. The token will be available for HSBC customers on the bank's online banking platform and its mobile application. Of course, that's not going to stand still. Some people will hold, some people will move that around. You know, a lot of people take capital and value out of other assets. Like, for example, you saw what happened with Bitcoin. Some of that capital left Bitcoin recently, and then it went into gold. Then it came out of gold and it went back into Bitcoin. At least that's what they reported. And I've seen movement like that personally. At least that's what I believe I was witnessing. I saw Bitcoin's price at some point. It's not recent, but it went down. Gold's price went up, and then gold. But this is at the time gold was skyrocketing at the time. And then when gold price went down, you start to see Bitcoin price go up. So people play that way because gold is a great protector. It's just that's just what it is. Whether people like it or not, gold is a great protector. Simple as that, especially physical gold. But I know a lot of people like the digital gold. It says here, according to the bank, this is the first retail product from the institution launched in response to the Chinese regulators' push for the introduction of digital assets for public use. The gold tokens, as the name suggests, are backed by physical gold. The proof of ownership for the tokens will be verified on the bank's proprietary private blockchain dubbed Orion. The tokens will also be minted on this blockchain. All right, so big activities happening from HSBC. So now we have some Bitcoin news. This article is titled Bitcoin ETF demand surges, outpacing supply by 600%. 600% is unbelievable. And this is why people want an XRP ETF so badly. Look at that. Like they know what happens when these institutions get involved. They're serious business. They don't turn away, and they keep forking over the money so they can dominate. And they understand that most of retail is not even involved in crypto yet. So that's why they fork over the money and to dominate the crypto sphere. Because they know in the future, once they start, they haven't begun to pump crypto yet. Not at all. Listen, one thing I do is, for lack of a better word, I keep my ear to the street. And a lot of retail that I speak to, they're still very negative on crypto as well as Bitcoin. They call it a scam. They call it a Ponzi scheme. It's like gambling. I've heard all of this. So the sentiment hasn't changed. What changed is that institutions are getting involved with a little bit of retail that's been here. The little bit of retail that's been here believes it's big, but it's not big. There's still a majority of the world that's not into crypto. So what these big institutions know is, hey, we'll dominate, take it over from retail that's been here for a long time. Then when they pump it later, and believe me, they will. You think they don't want to make money? Of course they do. So they will pump it later. When you start seeing commercials and things like that positively about crypto overall, when you start hearing the verbiage change in the mass media, not the regular media, the mass media, then you know that they're pumping it, because they will take their dollars and they will make things move. Like, for instance, you see how a lot of the politicians are still very negative, at least in the US, are very negative on crypto. When their verbiage begins to change and now they're speaking very kindly of crypto and, they're giving it a short leash, the money is moving behind the scenes, and that money hasn't begun to truly move just yet. It's been moved to get the institutions into a strategic position. But that's about all. Later on will come when when they're finished taking over, then it's the time for them to pump it. That's how I look at that. I could be wrong, but this is typically what I've seen. So it says the demand for U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs surged significantly on Tuesday, outpacing the new supply created by daily miners by a remarkable 614%, according to Gayatri Chowdhury, quantitative research analyst at Bitwise Asset Management. All right. It says the surge in demand for Bitcoin ETFs reflects growing interest among institutional and retail investors in gaining exposure to the digital asset, which is interesting because we read an article maybe about 2-3 days ago where they said that there's even more institutions that want to get involved. They're not even involved yet. So even all of their classification hasn't gotten involved yet. Listen, where crypto is heading, I don't think people understand how big crypto could actually be. They believe they've seen the top of the mountain. They believe they've seen the promised land already, and I just don't agree. And I could be wrong, but they could be wrong also. And I think I'm going to be right on this one. We've made a lot of good calls here, but this is going to get big. Listen, once again, they know crypto is a major, major moneymaker. The same way I see what's happening to crypto right now, I see the same thing happening to NFTs later. Yep. I see the same thing happening to NFTs later. They're already getting themselves positioned when it comes to NFTs to dominate when it comes to NFTs. And you see certain things that I said before, like that, the way NFTs began with a lot of the silliness, that's been going down. Have you seen the articles? That's been going down. Other things are moving forward. See, and that's where institutions come in. They make it real serious, real fast. But here's the good part about that. The money gets more serious. It gets easier to make money in a lot of different places. It's not all just concentrated. And that's one of the interesting things about crypto is they say it's all about decentralization, but you oftentimes see things concentrated to one area. It's like that's the opposite of decentralization. That's quite centralized, right? And I think that's what the BIS was talking about when they were talking about the centralization of decentralization, which you could still look up those PDFs to this day, right? Many of you already read that. But let's move on here to a little bit more Bitcoin news, right? And Bitcoin is going to lift everything else. That's why yesterday I said it wasn't a shock that XRP, and not just XRP, many other things benefited from the inflow of capital into crypto because of the Bitcoin ETF. But anyway, This article here is titled Kathy Wood's Bitcoin ETF hits daily inflow record as BTC retests $72,000. And another thing I want to say, even though a lot of things have done pretty good, right? I've seen some really good gains on a lot of different things that I'm holding, a lot of them. But even with that, I look at that and I say to myself, nope, it's not altcoin season. It hasn't been altcoin season yet. Nope. They didn't explode and pop off like I think that they could in the future. Once again, just my humble opinion. It's not financial advice. It's exactly, I'm making calculations. I'm looking at what happened in 2021. I'm looking at the institutional inflows right now, and only a little bit of that liquidity has been coming out of Bitcoin and playing in the market. A lot of that liquidity, what I'm seeing as I'm looking at other assets, right? I look at gold, I look at silver, I look at a lot. I'm into a lot of different stuff, and I see a lot coming out of crypto and getting stored away. Not just in those, I just use those as an example. But there's a lot of capital that when things are liquidated is coming out of crypto and it's getting stored in like a little mini cash pile on the side. I say mini because there's a huge cash pile on the side that hasn't even moved yet. I keep that in mind as well. But it's getting put into the little mini cash store. So it hasn't, not everything that comes out of Bitcoin has been playing in the altcoin markets, right? I mean, in the altcoins. And I think at some point that will occur, but it hasn't occurred yet. Even though things look pretty good, it hasn't occurred just yet. When it does, then you'll see everything start to go up significantly where people start to want to dance a little bit, have a little bit of a party, but it hasn't arrived there yet. But anyway, it says here, the ARK21 shares Bitcoin ETF saw a surge in daily inflows on Wednesday, reaching a new record of $201 million, around 5 times its daily average. Wow. All right. And then we have some Polygon news. I don't know how much time is left on the video. I have no idea. All right. Should I do some Polygon news? You know what? Let's skip the Polygon news. We'll go to BlackRock news because I want to get to this. I think this is way more serious, and it shows you how serious things are getting. Now, this article is titled BlackRock's Larry Fink thinks, well, look, pop up block the entire title of the article. BlackRock's Larry Fink thinks America's retirement age is a bit crazy. And the article writer does not. Does it? You don't think that? Listen, I've heard certain things where they're even thinking about considering certain individuals. Sorry, I was torn between saying individuals and entities. That they were considering raising the retirement age. Unbelievable. People don't even live that long anymore. Let me tell you something on a serious note. People don't even live that long anymore. They don't. I know that personally, right? And that's why every day I try to do my best. Like my goal every day is to be the best version of me I could possibly be and to do a good job at everything that I do. And the reason for that is because I know people don't even live that long. 65, 62, 70. That's a blessing. That's a good thing. That's a great thing. However you want to put it. That's an honor to make it, to live that long. But a lot of my people haven't lived that long. So that's why every day I wake up, I remember that. I'm thankful for every single breath that I take. So what are they talking about? Raising the retirement age. You must be insane. Anyway, it says Fink marveled at the fact that, quote, our anchor idea for the right retirement age originates from the time of the Ottoman Empire, unquote. This is one of the few times I agree with Larry Fink. And he's been getting a lot of stuff right lately. I don't know what's going on, but he's been getting a lot of stuff correct lately. It says BlackRock CEO Larry Fink wants to rethink retirement. After all, the U.S. is not the Ottoman Empire. In his highly anticipated annual letter to investors, the 71-year-old billionaire said that, quote, it's a bit crazy that our anchor idea for the right retirement age, 65 years old, originates from the time of the Ottoman Empire, unquote. Just my humble opinion. People should be relaxing by that time. Like people were not, in my humble opinion, were not meant to be worked until you got to lay 6 feet deep. No, you should be able to relax a little bit. You should be able to enjoy your life by that time. I don't know. A lot of you probably disagree with that, and I can respect your opinion. This is just my humble opinion. But that's insane to me. No. And like I said, a lot of my people I know haven't made it there. They'll never see that. And I think that people have deserved, if you've worked hard your entire life and you've stayed on a straight and narrow, you should be able to enjoy some of this place called Earth while you're here. It says the age of retirement is in some ways arbitrary, but not for many people. Then it goes into a little bit of the history of it. It says with more people retiring and longer retirements. Yeah, but that's inaccurate as well. So yeah, so people are retiring, but let's cover the data that says that a lot of people are coming out of retirement and returning to the workforce. So you mean to tell me that this individual missed all those articles and data written last year? Last year. So it's been sitting there for everybody to read. This was a big thing. Oh man, the people are coming out of retirement and taking the jobs of the youth. You remember that? Well, but they're getting to enjoy their retirement. Like, first of all, we could go really deep into that, affordability of living going up, them having to take care of others like their children because of the affordability of living, the lack of jobs. And yes, they say there's jobs postings. When they have job postings, they count that as jobs, even though the companies don't actually have to have jobs. They just have to make job postings. A lot of times they do that in order to look good, to look healthy. But the companies aren't actually hiring. This is why you have people with bachelor's degrees and master's degrees. Check it out. It's all over TikTok. All of these people are complaining all over TikTok. You go on there right now and type something in like that, and you're going to find 10, 12, 15 people with bachelor's degrees, master's degrees. Oh, I applied to 100 jobs, 200 jobs. Nobody's calling me back. Because those jobs don't actually exist. Just because they put the job posting out and the government counts that and says, well, there's jobs out on the market, doesn't mean they're actually there. That's just what I know. You may know something different, and maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong. So be it, do that. But as of now, that's what I know. So now a lot of people have to use their savings to take care of their children who can't find jobs because they bought into the college dream and such. And so that offsets this. What are you talking about? That offsets this. So more people are retiring, longer retirements across the board as people live longer. What do you do? Who is living long? Show me personally. Don't talk to me about numbers. Numbers tell the story of who controls the numbers. So all of that, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. I really dislike when people say that. Just like history is controlled by the victors, numbers are controlled by those who are in power. They can manipulate the numbers to tell you whatever they want to tell you. You wouldn't know because you don't have the time to do the research. You just have to go on some kind of blind faith that they're telling you the truth. That the numbers that they're providing you tell you a truth, but they don't have a vested interest to tell you a truth. They don't know you. You know what I'm talking about? So what do you mean people live who? Because I don't know anybody that's living longer. I know the generations before my elders lived longer than my elders. My elders haven't been living that long. So, hey, maybe that's just me. But once again, that's why I live every single day to the max. I do my best. I know my purpose. And I don't play around with my life at all. So when you see me on screen, I'm serious business. I'm giving you the absolute best that I could give you. Every day I'm saying to myself, what do I want to do? I put in hard work every day because I choose to. It's work that I'm choosing to do. But who's living longer? What do you mean by that? Who? Because I don't know them. So it says, Fink questioned whether the existing social security system is able to bear the heavy load of a growing retired population. With this, quote, immense strain, unquote, on the system, Fink questioned, quote, when people are regularly living past 90, what should the average retirement age be, unquote? Now he has me confused. So are you going in the opposite direction? I thought we were going to agree, Mr. Fink. Go ahead and prove yourself to be the villain that people make you out to be. I dare you. So I'm confused. Is he saying they should raise the age? Is he one of those people? Is that what he's saying? Because I thought at the beginning of the article, it made it sound different. And I don't like when article writers trick me. It says, quote, today, these demographics have completely unraveled. And this unraveling is obviously a wonderful thing, unquote, Fink wrote. Quote, we should want people to live more years, but we can't overlook the massive impact on the country's retirement system. The country? Who's worried about the country? In my humble opinion, I'm not talking about just overall, but I'm talking about governance wise. The government needs to worry about the people and serve the people, but they have not been worried about the people. They have not been serving the people. That's where you should point to, but you're not because you got them in your back pocket, in my humble opinion. Life expectancy for the total U.S. population is expected to climb to 85 years in 2060. According to the Census Bureau, that would mean the average American would live off of retirement savings and Social Security for more than 20 years if they retire at 65. Once again, who's living that long, because I don't know them. And they worked for it, so they should receive it. Simple as that. So I don't understand what he's trying to say. As a society, we focus a tremendous amount of energy on helping people live longer lives, unquote. But not even a fraction of that effort is spent helping people afford those extra years. Okay, so maybe he wasn't going full villain. He has me so confused. It looks like he turned back around now. Now he's like, well, people should be able to afford those extra years. So I guess I don't know how he's. It says, oh, wait. It goes into a little bit about the Social Security Administration and then says that means people won't receive the full benefits they're entitled to unless Congress moves to reduce benefits or raise tax revenues. Raise tax revenues. Of course, it's not like they're just giving money away left and right, mostly to themselves. I mean, like most of them have a meager yearly salary, but are multi-millionaires. Come on now. Who wants to buy their book is not that interesting. Their dinners that they have like $20,000 a plate. Come on now. Who wants to sit down to dinner with one of these individuals? No disrespect, but they have no personality. They're boring. They didn't get to where they are by personality. They got it by promises that they don't keep, So, I mean, like, take care of the people is what I'm saying. Raise taxes. Are you going to raise taxes? See, stuff like that. But if this is what he's talking about, is finding some kind of way for people to live a little bit better, then yeah, I agree with him. But if he's going the opposite way, because he confused me here, then I don't agree with that. It says, yeah, so he confused the heck out of me. As all of these people that talk out both sides of their mouths often do. Let's move on here. I don't know how long this video is going to be. It is what it is. UK. The UK confirmed in a recession at the end of 2023. Of course, we've been, I told people this. Europe is no different. Look at Japan as well. Japan's financial system. What are they doing? You think that if you look at how people are actually living in the United States, I'm still seeing articles come out now in the US talking about, oh, my new van life. Your new van life? Yeah, I just got a van. There's all these articles written like this, and the people are standing there by their van smiling. Come on now. No. I understand, compensating to continue to live well. Sure, do that. But people should be able to afford apartments, should be able to afford homes. That's why they've been working so hard. They didn't work all that hard to have to live in a van, but I don't know people's personal situations. I'm just saying. So, yes, a lot of places have been in a hard recession, a light depression. They don't want to talk about it. It's hard for the people to talk about. I get it. But in order to see, I'm a problem solver. If I see a problem, I don't run from it. I'm going to it head on. I'm going to solve it. I want to solve it right now. Get it out of the way right now, even if it's harsh. So a lot of people not like that. They don't like to address the problems. But here's what happens. When you don't address the problem, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Before you know it, you can't handle it. It becomes overwhelming. No, I say, let's get to this right now. No, we're in a depression, a light depression. Facts. I don't care what people argue over the semantics of it. Like, oh, it's inflation. Oh, it's price gouging. Who cares? The price is through the roof. Let's solve it. You're busy arguing over whether it's inflation or price gouging. That's inconsequential. The prices are sky high. People can barely afford food. Let's solve the problem. I'm just giving that as an example, but there's tons of videos with people showing they can't afford this stuff anymore in certain places. I like to get to the crux of the problem. Let's solve it and get out the way. There's no leadership like that anymore. No leadership. And they won't vote for someone like me because I don't know why, but they won't vote for someone like me because I'm going to get in there. But I would get in there and I'm going to solve these problems. I'm going to wipe these problems out, even though I know there's a lot of enemies around who benefit from the problem existing. So they're going to try to anchor someone like myself down, but it would just be a fight. But the people, they want promises and to be told sweet nothings. It's like when you're in a relationship, someone says, I love you, but they don't actually mean it. That's what a lot of these politicians do. See, and they don't see, and the people are so used to that. Just they want to hear something nice, but not receive something good. I'm not here to tell you something nice. I'm here to tell you the absolute truth and do good for you. Let's solve these problems. It's not just about you and not just about me. I know that the entirety of us must rise at the same time or we're not rising at all. There's no balance. So I'm going to get to that problem. I'm going to address that problem. So I may not have time to tell you a sweet nothing, but I do have time to solve that problem and get that out of the way. So that's what we need, leadership like that. Everyone wants to talk nice and sound super intellectual, but they're not providing intellectual solutions. That's a big problem, in my humble opinion. So, hey, we almost made it to the last few articles. Oh man, we're gonna end off with this one here. We're gonna have to skip the gold article for today. I went too long, but it's okay. This article here is titled "Over 1 billion in U.S. Treasuries have now been tokenized on chain." I think this is going to be big for the XRPL in the future. Definitely for Stellar. And you know why? Because of Stellar's connections to Wisdom Tree, to Franklin Templeton, to the Bank for International Settlements. They have their green bond on there. I think this is going to be huge for chains like that. I do. But I could be wrong. We'll see. So the new milestone was reached shortly after the launch of BlackRock's first tokenized asset fund, BUIDL, which joined 16 other tokenized government security funds last week. It says here, more than $1 billion worth of United States Treasuries now exists across Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, and other blockchains. Solana's in there, Polygon is in there. That's two of our coins. It says helped in part by the recent launch of the BlackRock USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund. BlackRock's product, tickered BUIDL, was launched on Ethereum on March 20th and now boasts a market cap of $244.8 million. According to Etherscan, 4 transactions to fund the totaling $95 million over the week added a boost to the fund, making it the second largest tokenized government securities fund. It says BUIDL now only trails Franklin Templeton's, we were just talking about them, Franklin Templeton's 11-month-old Franklin on-chain U.S. government money fund, which has $360 million in U.S. Treasuries, according to data compiled by the parent firm of 21 shares on a Dune Analytics dashboard. So big things are happening, folks. They're moving more and more into the blockchain. The institutions are taking over. The evidence is there. The evidence is there. The future is going to be brighter than the past for crypto. It's just that many people will not see it, but maybe not everyone is meant to see it, right? That's how it usually works out. A few people usually are the winners, just like the .com bubble. A few people are the winners. The majority will not win. It's just the way that it goes. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.